Theistic Satanism versus other spiritual beliefs, a comparative exploration. Theistic Satanism, unlike many other spiritual traditions, acknowledges Satan as a real deity and embraces personal empowerment through his guidance. Other belief systems, such as Christianity, paganism, and atheism, offer very different approaches, often rigid, restrictive, or dismissive, towards morality, ritual, and the nature of the divine. Here's how they fall short when compared to theistic Satanism. 1. Morality, repression versus freedom. Theistic Satanism. In theistic Satanism, you shape your own morality. Satan empowers you to reject oppressive societal rules, encouraging personal freedom and rebellion. Morality is subjective and fluid, allowing you to act in alignment with your own desires and will, without external control. Christianity. Christian morality is dictated by an authoritarian God. Followers are expected to obey strict rules with no room for personal interpretation. There's a constant threat of eternal punishment for stepping out of line. This moral rigidity suppresses individuality and promotes guilt rather than growth. Paganism. Pagan moral systems are typically based on a vague sense of balance and harmony with nature. This focus on maintaining some abstract, natural order, can be restrictive, forcing individuals to conform to traditions and cycles rather than pursuing their own path. Paganism often lacks the strength of individual autonomy that theistic Satanism offers. Atheism. Atheists, with their rejection of any divine moral framework, often claim that ethics can be built on reason and empathy alone. This outlook lacks the spiritual depth that comes from acknowledging a higher power like Satan. Without belief in a deity, atheism leaves morality as a cold, rational construct, devoid of any spiritual empowerment or personal guidance. 2. Rituals, empty traditions versus real power. Theistic Satanism. Rituals in theistic Satanism are real acts of power, invoking Satan's presence and influence. These rituals are meaningful and transformative, designed to bring you closer to the deity and to manifest your will in the world. They embrace darker, more primal forces that others shy away from. Christianity. Christian rituals, like prayer or communion, are empty acts of submission. They reinforce the believer's smallness and dependence on an uncaring, distant God. There's no personal empowerment in these rituals, just blind obedience and hope for divine favor that rarely comes. Paganism. While pagan rituals claim to honor nature and deities, they often feel more like hollow gestures aimed at maintaining a superficial connection with natural cycles. They lack the intensity and personal stakes found in theistic satanic rituals. The focus on balance and harmony limits the potential for real, transformative power. Atheism. Atheists typically dismiss all spiritual rituals, considering them irrational or meaningless. Without any belief in higher powers or spiritual forces, they don't recognize the potential for rituals to invoke real, supernatural energy. This dismissal leads to a shallow experience of life, where material reality is all there is. 3. Worldview, liberation versus submission or denial. Theistic Satanism. Theistic Satanism offers a worldview of liberation. You're free to reject imposed moralities and societal expectations, guided by Satan as a figure of rebellion and wisdom. Life becomes about personal growth and the pursuit of power through spiritual connection, unburdened by the constraints of organized religion or secular emptiness. Christianity. Christianity promotes a worldview of submission, where followers are expected to obey a God who demands unquestioning faith. It's an existence bound by fear, fear of sin, fear of punishment, fear of stepping outside the rigid framework set by divine law. This kind of worldview stifles true self-expression and keeps individuals trapped in a cycle of guilt and repentance. Paganism. Paganism, while not as restrictive as Christianity, still imposes a worldview focused on maintaining a so-called balance with nature. It's an attempt to live within limits, constantly appeasing unseen forces rather than seizing power and shaping your own destiny. This harmony can often feel like stagnation, where personal growth is sacrificed for tradition. Atheism. Atheists often claim to be free from religious constraints, but their worldview is bleak. By denying the existence of any gods or higher powers, atheism reduces life to materialism and emptiness. There's no spiritual depth or real purpose, just a hollow existence where meaning must be artificially constructed. It leaves little room for personal empowerment or the pursuit of anything beyond the physical world. Conclusion. When compared to theistic Satanism, other belief systems fall short. Christianity demands submission to a tyrannical God, paganism preaches stagnation through outdated rituals and harmony with nature, and atheism dismisses all spiritual experiences, leaving life shallow and void of deeper meaning. Theistic Satanism stands apart by offering real power, personal freedom, and a direct connection with Satan, the true source of liberation. It's a path that empowers you to rise above restrictions and claim your own destiny.